Booming with zooming events, resources, and updates.
Remember, you're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world.
You're listening to KRHC Roadrunner Radio Podcast.
Watch out there. Listen to what's going down virtually on campus. And here's your host, it's Albert Lopez.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So listen, connect, express.
Hey, this is Al Beats, aka Albert Lopez. Yes, this is our third week of school. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. Today, we have a special guest, Cynthia Ordonez, who is an alum of Rio Hondo College and one of our previous public relations chair. Also, we will be briefly announcing our upcoming events, so stay tuned and follow us on social media. Here is a word from our crew member, Gracie.
Alrighty, hi Roadrunners, this is Gracie here, giving you a few updates on some upcoming events. So let me start off with this. Have you ever found yourself experiencing struggles in staying organized, or maybe having a lack of motivation, or even struggling to sit down and study for a class? If you have, that's okay, because get this, on Tuesday, February 16th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., ASRHC will be having a Spring into Action event. Now this will provide you with some nifty tips and tricks on how to give you a few ideas on how you can create healthy habits that will help you keep your A. Just like the flyer says, there's going to be a few tips on how to help you stay organized and motivated, and even a few tricks on how to study more efficiently. So definitely come check it out. Now if you're interested in watching something new, playing games, or even winning some neat prizes, because come on, who isn't? Or maybe you just have some extra time on your hands. Well, whichever one you are, you're in luck, because ASRHC will also have a Netflix watch party on Wednesday, February 17th from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Just like the flyer says, there's going to be a showing of our planet, and to go along with it will be a Kahoot competition. And if you play the Kahoot game, you might just win a neat prize, so save the date and check it out. So that's all I have for right now. I'll catch you guys after the show and give you the last of our updates.
And welcome back, Roadrunners. This is Al Beats, and today we have an alum with us today, Cynthia, who was our PR chair a year ago. Today, we'll be having our group conversation with our crew and our alum. So let's get started. With our crew, we have our co-host, Nadia.
Hi, everyone. It's Nadia. I hope you're all doing good.
And we also have Gracie, who works on our flyer segment. Say hello, Gracie.
Hi, everyone. I make the flyer announcements. I hope you enjoy them. And if I'm too boring, please let me know, and I'll try to fix that.
And of course, your PR chair, Priscilla.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Priscilla, your PR chair. All I want to say is that I hope you guys enjoy our videos. I'm usually the one that's behind the scenes, working my magic, of course, and yeah.
and now for our alum guest, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Ordonez. I am an alumni. I graduated fall 2020. I am currently attending UC Santa Cruz as a psychology major. And fun tidbit, I used to be PR chair before I graduated from Rio Hondo College, and I am very glad to be back. I know it's just an audio, not video form like we used to do for On the Hill, but I'm hoping that I can give a little bit of input and be able to touch back with y'all because it's been such a long time. I miss Rio Hondo. And Albert, if you would want to go on with anything else, please go ahead. If y'all have any questions, please go ahead and ask them.
Yes, actually, I do. So let's get this conversation going. And I want to start off with saying, what was your experience been like? I know that you're on a podcast now at UC Santa Cruz. So can you give us a brief idea of what your experiences have been like?
Yeah, of course. We had to start through Zoomiversity. At first, the first quarter, we don't do semesters, we do quarter systems. So we only have 10 weeks of classes. It goes by a lot faster. it was very chaotic the first time around. I was just focusing on my coursework and just trying to get by. And it wasn't until maybe about a couple of weeks into the first quarter of fall 2020 that they asked me, hey, we're launching a new podcast division through our Division of Student Affairs and Success. And this podcast is meant to be able to reach out to remote learning students, especially freshmen and transfers, to hopefully help them feel a little bit more connected to what's going on campus, be it virtual events, any giveaways, and then also put out a lot of the resources that we offer virtually, like any psychological services and any services that are geared towards accommodations. And our main focus, which within my team and I, we really love doing, is giving in a lot of personal stories and a lot of insight as a student of how we're coping through these times and also staying on top of our schoolwork. Our podcast is called Slugcast. We're currently on Spotify and we're hoping to launch onto YouTube as well. And all of our stuff is on the UCSC website. And it's pretty exciting, honestly, coming back, especially since leaving Roadrunner Radio and being able to join a new podcasting crew has been a journey for me. But Roadrunner Radio was where I started. Thanks to Albert. Thanks to all of my other team members as well. I could not thank them enough for even introducing me to the world of podcasting. And I would not be where I am today, being a psych major and doing this on the side, if it weren't for them.
That's really cool. I really appreciate that. And starting this, and I want to do a little quick shout out to Paris Youngblood, who helped support my ideas, and to Shayna Phillips, our director of student life and leadership, who provided us the access to all of this. And yeah, it's been a fun journey. I really want to get into, after I'm done with my grad program, is get into mass media and continue my journey into like the media world. So yeah, and I really appreciate you coming here. I was really excited when I heard you when you sent me that text message. And we were all talking about our ideas and what we can do for the following, for the rest of the semester. I had one more question before I turn it over to like the rest of the crew. Mm-hmm. Is what do you miss most about Rio Hondo?
Oh man, that's a really, if I really have to think back, I think that what I really miss most is being part of ASRHC. It was just such a welcoming community. And I mean, especially during remote learning, just because I haven't had the opportunity to even meet anybody from UC Santa Cruz, having the fact that I was able to build so many friendships and make so many connections through ASRHC, I miss that the most. If it wouldn't have been for me joining AS, I don't think I would be the person I am today. Y'all really helped me become such an outgoing person and being more open and being more vocal about anything that I want to say or my concerns. Before I even joined AS, I never would have imagined myself that I would be doing podcasts. I used to hate the sound of my own voice. I used to hate looking at myself in cameras, but y'all were so encouraging and you pushed me to be better and you told me and you showed me that I could become so much more than the person when I came in from high school into Rio. I think that's what I really miss the most.
Yeah. Do you recall the first time we met? Actually, we were partnered during a retreat when I was the student and a student leader at Rio Hondo. It was at our retreat. We were paired together, and ever since, that's where our journey began, right?
We began our journey by burning marshmallows and talking so much about Lord of the Rings that we were both freaking out. I remember I was fangirling, you were fanboying so much about Lord of the Rings. And yeah. That's where it all began.
That's where it all began. It's just, it's so cool that, how we first started and now we're still keeping together, with the times and stuff. And so we're back here. So yeah, I would like to give it off to the crew to see if they have any questions they'd like to ask you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since you were PR chair last year, And now that you have your own podcast, is there any suggestions that you have for me or for PR as a whole?
Yeah, totally. Coming from the standpoint of being in your shoes, I would say that it's very important that you have a very open line of communication with your team members and anybody else who's going to want to approach you. Definitely being accommodating and understanding of everybody's life situations is very important, because things might come along and maybe one of your crew members gets sick, or something comes up and they won't be able to take on the workload. You have to be mentally prepared and need to have a plan to be able to figure out, okay, am I going to take on this responsibility for today and become the leader, or am I going to find some way to redistribute that task to one of my other members and work something through, so then that way we don't stop the workflow and we can still have a cool system that we will still get everything that we needed to get done. Something else that I can not emphasize enough is that you should definitely plan everything out ahead of time. And when you plan everything out ahead of time, make sure that you don't overwhelm yourself and decide that, no, I'm gonna do all of the editing today. Yeah, I have time. I'll do this. No, it's fine. I know that I can do this a little bit better. No, you need to take time to really assert yourself, ground yourself, and say, this is a group effort. Yes, I am the leader, but I need to know when I have to let others also take the charge in certain creative decisions or certain tasks. That will help you keep sane, and that will also help keep a very efficient workspace within all of you. That's all I got.
Thank you so much. I feel like that would help a lot.
And I know I've had a long history with Rio Hondo College, and I was part of supporting the tennis team. And I know Nadia was also part of the team. So, Nadia, would you like to go?
Yes, actually, yeah. So I was on the tennis team at Rio Hondo. I would go to practices and stuff, and that's where me and Cynthia actually first met.
I know.
We had like practices on Mondays and Wednesdays, I believe, and like it was hot outside, but it was really fun. What did you think, Cynthia, of the practices we had, especially the first week?
Oh my gosh. All I can remember is how bad my sunburn was that first week. I was such a dummy, and I thought, no, it's fine. Like, summer practices built me up. Like, I'll be able to hold out in the sun. I think that first week I realized, you know what? I'm going to need to invest so much in sunscreen. And I remember I would ask you, and I would ask one of our other team members, Gabby, for sunscreen every time, because I would forget it.
I always said no because I never had it.
I know, but I always thought that you would have some. I honestly, that first week is so much chaos, because you're still trying to get situated within like your classes. You're still trying to figure out how am I going to fit in like the study time? How am I going to have my body be kind of okay during class so you're not sore and you want to cry because we burned ourselves out in the court? I think that that was just chaos. That's all I have, really.
I remember like hitting the ball, and like you'd be surprised because it would go over the fence. Like that was very funny, but like not, because like I probably lost like half the balls like that we had.
Did you have to collect the balls yourself?
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was the worst part, because then she wouldn't let us go, and then if we left the ball, she'd always be like, "Well, you guys forgot the balls. You guys need to get the balls."
Oh my gosh, I remember the fact that we would have not arguments, but we would kind of like struggle within each other of like, okay, who's picking up balls this time, because everybody just wanted to go home or they had to run to class.
I wanted to get lunch after. That was my thing, because I had another practice after, and Unger would be like, "We need to get the balls," and then we had a crow one time, and like Unger was like freaking out.
Oh my god,
that was funny.
I think one of the most memorable things that we did, do you remember when that team came from Colorado and they were like, "Go Tigers," oh no, "Go Bears, go Bears," like,
oh no,
getting over that. I've never. And then after that, we were just coming up with our own jokes, or like, "Go Bears, go Roadrunners," like it was and then we had to play out in the rain that day, and I think we ended up like postponing half of our matches, and then when it stopped raining, we went back. Like, That was such a chaotic day. I miss it.
I just remember like the sun, like I would always be dead after practice, but like it was very fun.
It
And like I would
was.
never bring water all the time, so I'd always ask. So I would run out
Yes.
before, I'd drink it in class.
Yeah, you know what? One of my favorite memories, actually, of just helping out the tennis team is the snacks that everyone would bring, and they'd offer me, and I was like, oh man, this tennis team was so like gracious and so giving, and I was like, wow, it felt like a little family. So I really enjoyed my memories with the tennis team.
Oh, me too. I miss you all.
I know I miss it. I really do. I miss Coach Unger as well.
I know. She still messages me she messaged me my birthday and for Christmas too. I was like, oh, she still remembers me.
I always remember her coming in like her little car and with her sunglasses.
Oh my gosh, the smart car. I'm never
like, move your feet.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
I actually have a question for you, Cynthia.
Yes, go right ahead. Ask away, my child.
Oh yeah, so since I'm planning on transferring to UC once I graduate from Rio, what habits do you think I should be picking up before I decide to transfer?
Oh my goodness. There's so many tips that I can give you on things you should definitely pick up on that at first I didn't take seriously while being at Rio Hondo, but now I'm like, okay, yeah, I need to be doing this if I really want to stay on top of everything and not drop out. I think one of the biggest tips that I can give you is set up a schedule for you to do everything and make time for yourself. I know at first, like especially during when I was at Rio, I felt like I had all the time in the world. Like I could just take like 3-hour naps after practice. And it's like, yeah, well, the professor's going to remind me when the work's due, so it's fine. But once you enter the UC system, a lot of the students, either they've already been accustomed to the professors just not really telling them what to do, and you have to read the syllabus every day to make sure that you're on top of everything. Or you have to be very self-driven. That's one thing that I have to advise you to really start picking up on now before you graduate, that you need to planify everything as much as you can. Like you need to set time aside for when you're going to have self-care activities, because you will be working yourself to the bone. You will be studying to the bone. You need to also have time set aside so you can be able to communicate with your professors during their office hours, because they will not have time to discuss things with you or answer your questions during lecture. So if you have anything, write everything down, show up to their office hours, and be prepared to ask them everything you can, because they will not be available outside of that. And this is the most important thing that's helped me out the most. I started using a planner, and I use this thing for everything. Like I will plan out exactly within like a certain time range of when I should be eating, because sometimes you get so invested in your classwork and homework that you just kind of push aside your need of like, I need to get something to drink, or you know what, maybe I should take a stretch break, or maybe let me go get a snack. Like you will be pushing that off in favor of being on top of your schoolwork. And I learned that the hard way the first quarter. But now that I've dedicated myself to using a planner, it has helped out so much. Yeah, that's all I got.
It's really neat. So you mentioned having to use the planner, and you know how you sometimes spend so much time with your work that you forget to eat. And I think that's one of the big things that a lot of students don't realize, is that you actually can get so invested in what you're doing that you forget to eat, and you forget to stay hydrated. And I thought that was just really neat that you said that, because a lot of people think, it's something like, oh, that can't happen to me, but it does happen. And especially going to a UC, or really university in general, you do end up with a lot more work than you do at a community college. And with that, I wanted to ask you, what made you want to transfer to your UC?
This is actually a pretty personal question. My dad, he attended UC Santa Cruz back in the 80s, so he's an alumni from there. And I remember that when I was in high school, this is even before I was even thinking about going to college or university. My dad, he took us up to UC Santa Cruz, and I had no idea where we were going. I thought we were just going to San Francisco. And he made this comment of like, oh, we're going to stop by my alma mater. I'm like, okay, that seems fun. Like, and we're going up this hill, and then it's just trees. I'm not seeing anything. Like, I saw the sign at the bottom, and it just says University of California, Santa Cruz. But we're going up this hill, and I'm looking to the side, and I just see empty fields, this herd of deer, and I'm like, wait, UC Santa Cruz? I was like, wait, this is a university? And then we finally get to like the main area, the quarry, and he's like, this is UC Santa Cruz. This is where I graduated from. This is where I learned everything, where I'm now a social worker. And I just took everything in, and the students were there, and everybody's just like, hi, how are you? And I was just like, I was such a child, but all of the people, they were so kind, and they're like, is this your first time here? I'm like, yeah. They're like, well, welcome to UC Santa Cruz. And they kind of gave me like the TLDR on what their focus was and how they approach schooling. And at that moment, I was like, oh man, now the stories make sense. Like, no wonder my dad came here. I was like, this is so cool. Like, it's research focused, but they have such an emphasis on self-care and nature and connecting with your community and your peers and your, like, everything, just being connected with everything. Yeah. And for Albert quickly asking me, TLDR, it basically means crunching it down to about a 5-minute talk here. Something that you would be covering in a very long time. Yeah, I think that's when I realized, like, I want to be studying at this campus because it felt so right for me. The environment really called out to me. The people were so kind. And I figured, like, at that point, I didn't know I was going to become a psychology major. At that point, I wasn't even thinking about going to university. But that moment when I got there, I realized this is where I want to study no matter what I choose. So, yeah.
Wow, that's really neat. That's a really interesting story. That's, I think, one of the first times I've really heard someone tell me like a personal story on why they transferred to a certain college or why they want to go to a certain college. Really quick, I'm not sure if I caught that, but what again was TLDR?
I don't know the specific acronym, but I just know that it means you're crunching down something that you would be saying in a very long time into a very short amount of time.
Oh,
That's awesome, because I thought like that was some generational thing.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that.
And yeah, just to let the audience know that I text that message via like Zoom, and yeah, you were able to pick it up. And I was talking the whole time, but I had my mute button on. And I'm sure that's a recurrence things for everyone who's on Zoom doing school. Is that top? What is it? Would you call that common theme? Is like, oh, you're on mute.
yeah.
So I know people had that experience.
And it's okay, Albert, with the TLDR. Honestly, I'm not in tune with my own generation. And a lot of people say that I'm more like I should lean more towards like an older generation because I'm one of those people that are just basically out of tune on what's going on with today's teens. And I'm still technically a teen. Yeah. But even in high school, I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. So don't worry. I'm with you on that.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, you're fine. Don't worry. So one last question for you, Cynthia, because I really don't know you and you know everyone else here. So I'm pretty new to you and you're new to me.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that when you had first done the radio show on the Hill, that you were very, I want to say shy, was it? And that you weren't, you didn't like to hear your own voice and you didn't like to see yourself on camera. And I'm honestly basically the same way. I really have like a big issue with that. And I was wondering, how do you get over that? Do you have any tips on that?
First things first, you will never truly get over it. Sometimes when I'm going back and editing my audio and I listen to myself, I'm like, man, that was such a cringy line. Why did I say it like that? Or sometimes when I'm even looking at myself, like while I'm doing the video recording, I'm like, do I really say like that much? Oh my gosh, my face when I say these things or when I get excited, I look like I look like I'm out of it. Like, you will never truly get over these things. I will tell you that. But yeah, when I started, and Albert had mentioned to me originally, it's like, oh, we used to have this thing called On the Hill. It was like a video podcasting thing. I'm like, that seems like a cool idea. Like, I would want to bring that back. I feel like it would be really cool, since we're already on the computer and phones so much, we may as well listen in to what we have to say. So I was like, you know what? This is going to be really hard, because I was the kind of person who just, when I even started community college at Rio, I did not know how to even approach people to properly talk to them. I was extremely shy. I was in constant fear of being criticized and talked down on because of maybe my interests or the things I had to say or the way that I expressed things. But I think that just little by little forcing myself to say, you know what, I have a question about this. What do you all think about this? Like, even if I was shy at the beginning, pushing myself and pushing the boundaries that I thought that I could never achieve, especially with having to set myself with the mentality of, you know what, if they don't like what I say, they don't like the way that I express myself, if they don't like the way that I look, then that sucks for them, because this is who I am. These are the way that I voice my concerns. This is the way that I voice myself. And if they're not okay with it, then they're missing out. That is how I basically, like, little by little. And then same thing, I also had so much support from my crew. I had so much support from Shayna. I had so much support from Albert. I had so much support from even people who were not in PR to say, you know what? Like, I really liked it when you said this, or, oh my gosh, it's so cool when you do this. And then that gave me a lot of self-confidence. And yes, even though sometimes I still struggle a little bit with it, having those thoughts in mind that there are people, at least even one person, who's there to support me and to motivate me and to tell me that what I'm doing is cool and that they like it, as long as you have that one listener, then that's all you really need.
Wow, I really love that. Sorry, I just cut you off, Albert.
No, go ahead.
But I really want to say I really, really admire that. And I really love that, because I think that's something that I still struggle with. And I know that a lot of people I know too struggle with that too. And you having said that, I really hope a lot of people think about that and, you know, kind of reflect on that in a sense. You know, I know it's supposed to be like a really happy conversation, but, you know, every conversation does have like a little bit of a serious point, and I feel like this was it. Yeah. And yeah, I really want to say I appreciate you saying that.
No, of course.
Thank you.
No problem. You have to definitely, once you're aware of when you know that you're struggling and when you know what your worries and your fears are, there really is no place to go other than try to work at them and try to improve on them. And it's going to take some time. It's not going to be something that you're going to be able to do within a week or a month. It's something that will take its time. Like, I remember the first episode that Albert and I recorded, I was still very awkward. I remember I was as red as a cherry. I was completely out of tune. I was laughing so much and giggling, and we had to constantly reshoot the same line because I couldn't stop laughing because of how nervous I was. But I think by maybe the second or third time around, it slowly, I was just like, you know what? If we're going to make these mistakes, I'm going to own up to them. And that's going to be my persona. If I am messing up, oh, well, like, they're going to hear this is how I mess up, and there's nothing else that you can do about it. So yeah, I mean, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate that question. And that's the reason why I'm here, actually, because when I first started this idea way back, I had a difficulty trying to gain a crew that would like to be on camera. It wasn't my intention to be in front of the camera or be in front of the mic. I wanted to be more like the director, the producer. And when nobody wanted, or everyone had that nervousness of seeing themselves on camera, I took the initiative to, like, you know, well, if it's got to get done, I have to do it myself. And And be honest, like Gracie, it took me, when I first started doing videos, it took me 2 to 3 hours to like really get it done. And it was a struggle. I'm not gonna hide that it didn't come easy. So I just really appreciate that question. I hope that it inspires other people to want to join our crew, and also maybe start their own media or get into TV and mass media if that's something that they're interested in, but are trying to overcome those barriers. But I want to say thank you. I know. Cynthia, that you have, to prep for your meeting and you have a podcast that you have to run. But I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. And it was great recollecting on all of our memories. I want to wish you well on all your endeavors. Any last comments?
Yeah, totally. I can't thank Roadrunner Radio. I can't thank ASRHC. I can't thank Rio Hondo enough for helping me become such a better person, not just in the academic sense, but in the personal sense of y'all have driven me to become a much better individual than when I first started at Rio Hondo in so many aspects. And I cannot list them all off because, as you heard, like with Nadia, with tennis, I never would have thought about joining a sport. And I never would have thought I could make a friend there as well. I never would have imagined myself even being part of ASRHC. Even less, I would have never imagined myself becoming PR chair, especially with my fumbling, bumbling self from high school coming in. I think that the experiences that you have at Rio Hondo College, be it positive or negative, you need to take advantage of whatever is thrown at you and try to twist it and mold it into the best way that you can, because these things will help you become a better person, whatever career path or you decide to follow once you graduate, be it going to a UC school, going to a Cal State, going to trade school, or just going to a job. These experiences, especially because this is the age and this is the time when we really get to find ourselves and we get to develop who we are. This is what's going to define who you become. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to get all sappy either. I don't want to get all philosophical either. But I don't want to cry, but
thank you so much, Cynthia. That I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all your words. And from the day I met you till today, I've seen you grown so much, and I'm very, very, very proud of you. I think I got really excited when you sent me your first text message back that you got hired for the podcast position at UC Santa Cruz. So I'm really proud of you, and I'm really glad you were here for us. Any more last comments or words from our crew?
Is there anything that you would like to say to the students that are listening right now?
Yes. I would say, even though we're stuck in remote learning right now, try your best to keep your head up. I know that it's very difficult, especially graduating through Zoomiversity. I can say that you definitely feel that disconnection right now, and especially because you don't get to see your friends in person, or you don't get to go out, and your usual activities that you used to have, they've been completely thrown out of whack. I would say that just even if it's awkward or if it's embarrassing, please reach out to your friends. Please reach out to loved ones. That's what's going to get you through it right now. And especially with schooling and personal things, even if you're just talking with one person, it's going to be what's going to push you through it. Yeah, I don't know. If anything else you would want me to expand on before we leave.
Anyone?
Yeah, I have one thing actually. When do you think you'll be graduating from your UC?
Oh yeah, huh? Prospective, it should be spring 2023. But that's considering that if I'm only taking 2 classes each quarter, but I'm taking 3 classes each quarter because I'm a cool person like that. I can take the load. But I'm hoping that even though, yes, I'm at a UC right now, and even though, yes, it's remote learning, I'm hoping that I can still keep in touch with y'all. Maybe come back every little once in a while with your Roadrunner radio show and give little tidbits and help y'all out.
Yes, we'd love that.
Well, thanks again, Cynthia, for being here. Let's everyone say goodbye to Cynthia and thank you for being here.
Bye, Cynthia. Thank
Bye,
you for coming.
Cynthia.
Bye. Thank you
It was
so
nice seeing
much. We hope to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me here. And thank you, Albert, for offering to even have me on this show. This is very exciting. I'm very excited to see where this is going to go from here.
Of course, of course. So again, to our audience, if you would like to be a guest on our podcast, email Priscilla and we will contact you as soon as possible. Check you later. Check out this next announcements and hopefully you can join us on our social events and RHC events as well.
Alrighty, hi again everyone. So I have a few questions for you. First off, did you know that the Violence Intervention Program, or VIP for short, will be having multiple workshops throughout the semester? If not, you do now. So let me ask you another thing. Are you interested in a self-defense empowerment workshop? If you are, that's great, because this is one of the very many workshops that the VIP will be having throughout the semester. And they will be having an empowerment self-defense workshop on Thursday, February 18th from 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. Save the date and check it out. Okay, now we all know February is Black History Month, and if you're interested in learning different ways on how to celebrate or even interested in learning how to cook new meals, come and join ASRHC in celebrating Black History Month with Chef Jay Hart in a Zoom cooking class on February 24th at 2 p.m. Now do be aware that if you are interested, you must sign up as soon as possible because there are kits available for the first 25 participants, so you must sign up as soon as possible if you would like a kit. Now that's all the updates I have for today. Thank you guys for listening to me, and I'll catch you guys next time. Now here's your wonderful public relations chair.
Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing well. For this episode, I'm going to be talking about our grab and go events. Have you been affected by the pandemic and you are in need of food to provide for yourself or for your family? I know I was, and the grab and go came in clutch. So come by our grab and go. Our next grab and go will be on February the 17th from 12 to 2. So some goodies we provide are canned goods, cereal, rice, and more. The location is in front of the Student Services Building. All you will need to provide is your student ID and you will be good to go. Remember, if you have any questions at any time, you can contact us or the Real Source Room. Thank you. Hey Roadrunners, this is Priscilla Mendoza, your Public Relations Chair. If you would like to be updated on all of our events, please follow us on YouTube at RHC Student Government and Snapchat and Instagram at RHC Student Gov. Listen, connect, express.
Again, this is Al Beats, aka Albert Lopez, and of course our co-host Nadia. On behalf of us and the crew, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to Roadrunner Radio. And we hope that we can catch you next time because we know your time is precious. So listen, connect, express. It's great, like recollecting on all of our memories. I want to wish you well on all your endeavors.
So some goodies we provide are canned goods, cereal, rice, and more. So, shoot! I forgot what I was going to say.
But I want to say thank you. I know, Cynthia, that you have, to prep for your meeting and you have a podcast that you have to run.
Hey Roadrunners, this is Priscilla Mendoza, your Public Relations Chair. If you would like to be updated on our events, please follow us on YouTube at RHC Student Government